What's up everyone, my name's Ryan Pfeiffer and you're watching Shape and Explore. Today we're going to be making some DIY outdoor furniture and transforming a condo balcony from this to this. Let's get started. I started off by trimming down the major components. These will help to form the frame of the bench. As I cut each piece, I found it really useful to label them with their dimensions. Staying organized is something I'm trying to improve on with each project. This furniture is made for a specific balcony size, so the measurements might be different for you and your situation. I'll give the major dimensions as we go along. With all of the components cut, I began assembling the legs for the bench. The legs are made up of 2x3s, forming rectangular frames that end up being about 16 inches tall. As a rule of thumb, a comfortable seating height is between 16 and 18 inches. With the legs completed, I used 2x4s to form the bench top. I screwed on the first bench slat, then used a spacer block to attach the horizontal brace. I pre-drilled vertically, then finished the hole diagonally, before screwing the piece in place. Then I could use the same method to mount the second leg. The third leg is mounted at the end of the bench, creating a large storage space underneath. I then clamped on a spacer block to the front of the legs. This would show me where to attach the front 2x4 so it will be flush with the slats I'll be installing on the front of the bench. I then used some 3/4 inch spacer blocks to position the rest of the slats before securing them in place. I repeated this process to create a smaller bench. This smaller bench will also feature storage space beneath. Here you can see how the two benches combine to form one L shape. Next up, I started working on the table that will nest beneath the larger bench. I wanted the table to have less visual weight, so I created tapers on the legs by marking 1 inch from one end, then connecting that point to the opposite corner using a diagonal line. I then carefully clamped the piece, and used my circular saw to cut along the line. With all of the angles cut, I then mounted the legs to the frame, making sure to put the flat sides facing outwards. The table will nest horizontally, then can come out and flip vertically to be used. After that, I started assembling the rear lattice structure, using 2x4s to create a frame. I also installed cross supports which will double as display shelves. Then I trimmed down the 1x2 slats which will be used to clad the lattice structure and benches. I mounted the slats to the outside of the bench using a brad nailer, and I used a 1/4 inch spacer to maintain even gaps as I worked my way down the face. I then repeated this process on the face of the lattice structure. Having an extra set of hands really helps to level out the slats. After that, I sanded everything down to 150 grit and made sure to round over all of the exposed corners. I then used Bare Premium quick dry wood finish to create a waterproof seal on the wood, but I forgot to film the process. Once the sealer had dried, it was time to install everything on site. To support the lattice structure, I used L-shaped brackets to mount it to the back of the large bench. With everything installed, the balcony was complete. The whole goal of this project was to maximize usable storage and living space, while still maintaining clean, modern lines, and I really think this piece pulls it off. I hope that you enjoyed this project. I'm really happy with the way this patio furniture turned out, and when it comes to designing and building within small spaces, multifunctionality is definitely the way to go. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up below, and feel free to leave any questions or comments there as well. I'd love to know what you thought of this video. Also, if you're new to my channel, I'd like to say welcome, and consider subscribing. That way you can stay up to date on all my newest builds. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time on Shape and Explore.